Hello, welcome to another episode of VVB co-production with wineloverscroatia.com and about wine from Dubrovnik area. We have an example here, which is a wine from Dubrovnik area. It's just about less than an hour away from
half an hour down south, from Dubrovnik.
It's close to the border with Montenegro. And we've actually recorded an episode over there at the winery. The winery is called Crvik. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Almost, yeah. Crvik. Crvik is the last name of the winemakers. Andro Crvik is the founder, I think, of the winery, but his son Petar Crvik is now in charge, and he's the brain behind their very creative lineup that they have in the last decade, let's say.
But then we did not try this particular wine. Yeah. This is an orange wine, an amber wine, which is a new thing in Croatia. People are still getting used to it.
You can't really say that in Croatia orange wine has a mass appeal among the wine consuming public, and everybody's wine consuming in Croatia, but among those that are wine enthusiasts, and definitely among certain winemakers, orange wines are making a big boom in Croatia because, basically we have very good climate and very good varieties for orange wines.
So the wine we have here is called the Blasius.
Blasius is just a winery name. Blasius, basically, Blaž, which is a local name, but also the name of our patron saint in Dubrovnik, Saint Blaise or Saint Blasius in Latin.
Okay, and then the great variety is Malvasia Dubravčka.
Not bad.
Right?
Malvasia Dubrovačka, which in Croatian means Malvasia from Dubrovnik. Malvasia variety, we already talked about it. Well, there's not one variety of Malvasia, there's like 17 of them or something, all around the Mediterranean mainly. But Malvasia from Dubrovnik, not to be confused with Malvasia from Istria, Malvasia Istriana, which is a very, very popular white grape variety in Istria, basically second most planted wine variety in Croatia.
And we had a bottle of that in the previous episode. Yeah. But here, look at the color. So it's very orange. It's a proper
this
orange.
Is proper amber, color. Very, very interesting, beautiful color. Orange wines have amazing color usually.
And the vintage here is 2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blasius, one of my favorite Dubrovnik area orange wines. I used to run a restaurant. We used to have it in the restaurant. It's something that you need to sort of introduce to casual drinker, right? Because they just see it as, this is like a white wine.
So it has to be hand sold.
Yeah. You do have to have a bit of a disclaimer. You do have to have a bit of, because this is not light white to have on a hot summer's day. This is something a bit more substantial.
So you will have to pair it with something.
Food. Well, orange wines are food wines. I mean, generally speaking. And this one can be paired with a lot of things. I mean, already on the nose, it's so rich.
It's very rich on the nose.
You have wood influences there. You have these florals. You have this like sweet apple compote. You have some honey aromas, orange zest.
Some spices as well.
Spices, yeah, definitely. Definitely, maybe a bit of nutmeg.
That's the interesting thing about orange wine in Croatia. Everywhere else in the world, Georgia or Slovenia, you seldom oak orange wine.
Yeah.
But here in Croatia, people oak it. Put an oak.
Now,
there's an example.
Oak, in my book, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but oak it doesn't mean one thing. When somebody says, this, especially with white wine, when somebody, this was oaked, that can mean a lot of things. Like it can
New oak or old oak, used oak.
It can mean it's just as if you're chewing through wood, right?
Yeah.
Or it's just an added hint of sweet spices or something like that.
Or this is just for micro-oxygenation.
Yes.
Neutral oak.
Yeah. Neutral oak that's only there to let the wine breathe, as they say. in the industry. But this is nothing. This is not over oaky, but it's definitely not just a hint.
Exactly.
This is substantially oaked.
Yeah.
But I don't find it offensive. I don't find it overpowering. I find it to be well balanced.
It's a totally different style of orange wine. I think it's really worth trying. It would go well with some chicken dishes, or grilled chicken, or something like that.
Chicken dishes, I like pork with these
well.
types of, because pork in Croatia usually you do it with a bit of orange. You squeeze a bit of orange, especially wild orange. We had earlier we had some
Bitter orange.
Bitter orange, yeah. So a bit of bitter orange on your pork cutlet, match made in heaven.
All right.
Right,
Great.
moving along.
We'll move along to our first red. It's from a winery that we previously tasted, white from. It's Boskinac, which is located on the island of Park, and this is called Refuel. Refuel is 2019. It's the lowest end red. It's from Cabernet Sauvignon Merlot and what was it? Syrah. And okay, Syrah with Cabernet Sauvignon Merlot. It's Merlot dominant, so over 55% Merlot.
Thank you.
Oops.
And this is what vintage?
2019, so it's a fresh wine, not much oak.
It definitely looks fresh, right?
Yes.
The color, you have a lot of these purple notes.
And on the nose, it's very fresh.
Oh, yeah.
Not much oak. It's probably fresh from the tank.
Yeah.
Inox tank, stainless steel. There's a little bit of that peppery notes from Syrah that you could tell. Color is quite light and fruity. It's got a lot of fresh primary fruits.
Yeah, it looks, and even on the nose is a bit like, I don't know if you had this when you were a kid, but here we had this hard candy that was usually like a mixed berry fruit candy, right? And it was exactly this color, and even a bit of this on the nose, yeah.
Bright and cheerful, light red, easy to drink.
Nice acidity.
Very good acidity.
Very, very good acidity. Finish decent for what the wine is. For the style of wine, it's a decent finish. It's not very long finish, but it doesn't dissipate, piece by piece. It holds.
But I love it. It's so cheerful. The wine's happy.
Yeah.
It's a happy wine.
I think this is the style, right? I think they were going for exactly this.
Yeah.
Not very pretentious red. It doesn't. It's not going to hold your attention for. We can't just talk about it for an hour. I mean, we could, but it would be forcing it. But it's actually a nice food wine as well.
Yeah.
And it's a nice red
for summer.
For a summer's day, exactly what I was going to say. It's a nice red for a bit more of a hot climate, which is where we are at the moment.
I love this wine. Sometimes you don't have to have the most complex wine to be a good wine. It depends on when you serve it. What's the purpose of this wine?
Yeah. This is not the wine to be aged for a long time.
No.
I would still like to keep it for another year before opening.
Right.
What do you think?
I think it's good now.
Yeah.
One more year, yes, you can keep it, but then if you lose some of that primary fruit, what's the point?
Yeah. I like it. I don't love it as much as you, but I definitely know what I would pair it with.
Yeah.
Right here, which is the region known as Dalmatia, I would pair it with Dalmatian flat steak, known as Dalmatian pržolica, usually served with boiled Swiss chard and potatoes, much like what we do with fish here. Perfect combination.
Okay, so we'll try the other wine that from the winery that we tried previously. Fakin.
Fakin.
Yeah,
I think
great name.
would be the exact pronunciation.
Yes.
But yeah.
And people would actually easily register this name.
Yeah, it's a name
good selling point.
that rings a bell.
Yeah.
But Fakin is actually the last name of the winemaker.
And it's got the Decanter Gold, 95 points. 2018 Decanter World Wine Awards.
Yeah, Croatian wines on decanter especially have been going up, and I think winemakers, local winemakers, are starting to see the benefit of entering their wines in these various international competitions, fairs, courses, whatever. And there's way more interplay between Croatia and the rest of Europe, especially when it comes to wine these days.
This one is a single vineyard, 2017 Tehran. The grape type is Tehran. Tehran is always a very difficult grape.
Exactly.
I would say because it's heavy tannins, it's high acidity. It's very hard to tame. It's very wild.
Yeah. But when you get it right, and I think by the nose, these guys got it right, you get very nice wine.
This vineyard was planted in 1972. So it's old vines.
So it's almost 50 years.
Yeah, and then it's got 21 days of skin contact and 24 months in oak barrels. Well, on the nose, it's very rich. It's got some dark primary fruits.
Excuse me.
It's so heavy that it chokes you.
Just a wrong pipe. But actually... I don't want to spit it out.
It's very intense, very concentrated.
It's rich.
Very rich.
It's kind of velvety. I like it. I like it very much, I have to say. Tannins are there. This is
heavy.
Substantial tannins, right? And
Very
this is coming from somebody from Croatian South, where our main red variety is one of the highest tannic varieties in the world. But this baby is high in tannins. Decent acidity, but very good mix of primary and secondary aromas. Rich, full-bodied, just nice duration, or nice finish. I'm still feeling this wine, So definitely.
For me, the only downside, it's a bit rough on the tannins. There's a bit of bitterness towards the end.
I think
with the tannins.
With this wine,
You have to age it.
Yeah, I would leave it for a few more years.
Yeah.
But I would be very cautious about the acidity. After 5 years, I would be very cautious where the acidity goes. But I would give it 2 more years before getting into it. But again, this is culturally biased in a way. I'm used to high tannins. I'm a Plavac Mali drinker, which is a local variety. So I like tannins. This would be wonderful with steak, right? This is Istria. Steak with cream of truffle sauce. Man, this would be amazing. Talk about local pairing, right?
Yeah, right. So we'll talk about other wines a bit later on, and we'll take a break and come back for more.
And finish these bottles.
Yes. See you later.
See you later.